As I was journaling today, I began actually channeling, which I know I've done automatic writing before so many times in my life, but today it seems even more powerful. And so, without any further delay, let me just go ahead and read it. My thoughts today, as they've been since November 2025, are unraveling. I am rapidly changing by observing my thoughts. No, observing all thoughts that I'm tapped into. If you're an empath, you know what I mean. When you're born into this realm and you don't have any guidance, someone to explain to you who you really are, why you're here, and why you feel things so much deeper. It's as if colors are rich, experiences are richer. You do things and know things, but don't understand how you're doing them. Your own parents, teachers, the adults in your life probably won't admit it, but they feel safer with you around. They feel your quiet confidence, and you bring peace amongst division, chaos, and quarrels, conflicts. But then again, so does everyone else feel your quiet confidence and feel safer in your presence. Even those who should not have access to you. So when they betray you, it teaches you to betray yourself. This is what the world has taught me. Chosen ones. I don't care when you come across this transmission. It's an activation. Whenever you hear it, just know this is how energy works and it will find you in the divine right time. When you're ready and open to hear it, even if you don't fully understand in the moment, you are hearing it. Seeds are still being planted. And two, those will sprout when they're meant to in divine time. Release your worries now. This transmission is from the quantum field. With all the technological advances, we are able to reach you in expanded ways. But discernment and feeling of the resonance is something you were born with. For you, it's not about learning for the first time, it's remembering the vastness of who and what you are, why you're here. It's rediscovering your true nature and essence in all its quantumness. We cannot address each one of your missions at this time, for thousands are scheduled to hear. But know that this too is buried within you. If it's lying dormant in your DNA, these transmissions will begin that activation. It just depends on how much programming in your realm you've been subjected to and taking on as your own. It will be the equivalent of what you then need to unlearn, deprogram, walk away from, or transmute and unify. There are numerous ways to reach this goal, and you can tap into one or use them all at the same time or at all different times. Just know it's not about doing it right or wrong, it's about taking the first steps, then the next, and so on when intuitively inspired to act. You are the way showers, but also the path makers. You are the ones who are always last, hidden, doing the energy work in the liminal spaces. Now, I want to add something here. When you are working as an energy healer, as a healer of any sort, as a quantum being, as a divine being, a chosen one on a mission in the liminal spaces, this will affect your 3D physical reality. And if you forget, you hear my stomach, it will make you uncomfortable, which it has for me. That's a lot of what I'm transmuting and trying to reignite within my own self right now. Find out in your body where this work you've been doing, heavy, denser energies you've been taking on and working through, they have settled in areas of our physical body, our connective tissue, our fascia, our nervous system, our organs, our energetic chakra wheels or centers, our meridians, our neural pathways, and our brain hemispheres. It's almost like we are going in now for surgery, and it's a process, okay? It cannot be rushed. It can be overwritten, and that's what is planned for a lot of us who are at this stage. If you've been working in the liminal spaces and it has affected your 3D life to the point of where things seem to not be moving, they seem stagnant, they seem like you're in the in between, the liminal spaces, it's time to wrap up these loose ends so you can hop out of the liminal spaces. You can hop out of those, that stuck, stagnant energy that keeps you bound to no further growth and decay. Or what do they call it? You're either expanding or, you're either growing or you are decaying. In this situation, it's time to grow. So think of it as midterms or the final exams. Although it's not a test, it's just a release. It is just a, okay, I don't want to experience this anymore. So I'm going to choose different. I'm going to act different. I'm going to be different. I'm going to identify with a different energy. I'm going to identify with different thought forms. I'm going to release these thoughts because I know that those weren't really me. Those were just things that I had to endure. Those are just things that I had to experience in order to alchemize, transmute, and unify within my own self, which is the balance of dark and light, or what many refer to as good versus evil, Satan versus God, the angels versus the demons. This spiritual warfare was always within. And the point is, the battle is over. In those of us who have been doing it longer than assigned, it's time to let that go. But some of us became brainwashed into thinking that we were still chained to the past, that we still had to maneuver life that way. So, of course, in this unprogramming of the mental realms, we need to experience, to open ourselves up to new experiences, to bring in the blessings, to allow the universe to bring you your joy now so that you can overwrite and finish the alchemization process. That is what it means to step out of the liminal spaces, step out of being reclusive or afraid of the world or afraid to join back in. And that does not mean you have to rush yourself. It means to prepare yourself to just be ready and open to do so. And we do this by changing the energy we're sitting in right now. So instead of sitting in something that is more negative and brooding about our past or being stuck in lower vibrational thoughts and going back over and over and over the past. Let the past go because now you know why it happened. And it instantly can assist with taking those swords out of your back, with laying all the heavy wands responsibility of the past, of who the world told you you were. You don't need that anymore. You don't need the world's guidance. You are the guidance for the world. It's a flip. You're flipping the energies now. When you receive intuitive guidance to act from a place of love and joy and your divine will, then that's where you act in those directions. Now, back to the channeling. You are the ones who were always last and now being sprung ahead of the human collective to share yourself in a creative, authentic way with the rest of the planet. The world needs you in all your power, confidence, and loving alignment to lead the way by being the light on the path forward. There are massive changes happening on the entire planet in 2026. They've been happening energetically in 2025. In 2026, they are going to start showing themselves in the physical 3D reality. I'm not going to specify names here, but people around me are starting to awaken. So, because of quantum entanglement and quantum physics, right, and that spooky energy that Einstein spoke of, just our mere energy and essence, authentic essence alone, can plant seeds in people telepathically. Sometimes we don't even have to specifically be speaking on a certain subject. We could be just in their presence. It doesn't matter, but it's like a domino effect. So it's important to understand just how potent and divine our energies are. This is why I can speak on this in different multidimensional layers and levels, and you take it however it resonates. Because some people would look at this that we were sabotaged from the time we began, from the time we came out of our mother's womb. Sabotage, at least in my story, in the narrative that I was telling myself, there for a long time, I just thought I was different. I thought maybe I didn't know how to navigate this world the way that everyone else did. I thought maybe I didn't have the right wiring. And this whole time I was wired perfectly. And then I started to think that, I was targeted because of who I am in a divine, energetic way, the divine being I am. I thought, wow, so they saw me coming before I knew who I was. I never had a chance to do it my way. And so we can get stuck in these victim mentalities, which keep us looping as a victim. But there comes a point in time when we have to cut the cord with that. Cut the cord with that story we've been telling ourselves because we are so much more important in the fabric of what everything is going on. Now we're starting to see just how the pieces fit together, how we were way more important, and that if we continue to look at it like we've been sabotaged and victimized without realizing that these things actually propelled us forward into this now moment of discovering just how powerful we actually are and how we overcame all of those. Some things most humans could not keep up with. They would have ended up losing their mind, which quite a few of us have lost our minds at several points on our journey and have had to find our way back. This is something we agreed to. We signed up for this mission. We signed up to do this, but we don't have to do it anymore. We are done with that part. We're done with the dark night of the soul. We're done with the old stories, the old narrative, with other people telling us who we are and who we have to be. We're done with the limiting beliefs. And the only way to truly be done with it is to walk away from the story and say, okay, now I write it the way I want. I do it the way I want because I never had the chance to do it like that from the beginning. And we will have our victory, but we have to believe. And I'm pretty certain if you're still listening to this transmission, you know who you are. You have a clue that you're different, but in a good way, that you weren't handicapped. You just had more baggage, more denser, heavier energies that you had to clear and transmute for whatever you came here to do. Now, that being said, we are being asked now to lead the way again because we are going to be the ones holding the lights on the path for the rest of humanity. There are 8 billion people on this planet, supposedly, and we cannot be stuck in a victim mentality thinking that we can't get out of our own way or that people are trying to still hold us back. They don't have that power over us unless we give it to them. Tell yourself this every day if you have to until you start to believe it. Some of you will be called to lead, some to teach, some to defeat the darkness within and unify it, because as within, so without. If we unify the dark and the light within, that's what we manifest into our 3D reality. And they can work together. They do not have to be a house divided. We don't have to have our psyche split and fighting one another. The longer we continue down that road, the longer we continue with the chaos and conflict and division in our 3D reality we get to experience. But when all aspects of ourselves are working towards the same goal, we are unstoppable. That is where we're reaching right now in 2026. Our point of contact, the one who is channeling this transmission now, you may remember the name Asia, AJA, the one who leads their brothers and sisters to the motherland, the Holy Land, Mecca, or back home to self. She is just stepping back into her role in this lifetime after years of feeling left behind, abandoned, lost at sea in some very tumultuous waters, with her lifeboat sinking, fighting just to stay afloat, seeing her own darkness in everyone and everything around her, and then having to transmute that duality in order to taste the light, in order to see the light, in order to feel love and see real divine light and love again. This was not an easy task. She is exhausted, but slowly coming into her recalibration. Be patient. Show, whoa, I did just see an orb of energy underneath me. The divine really is here. Not that I doubted it, but I'm just reading this back and I saw that. Wow. Show her and yourselves grace because she is you and you are her. See yourselves in one another. Recognize your own divine oneness. There is not anyone better or above. That is the old paradigm. You will all benefit energetically first from her alchemical process that is still taking place as everything is all happening in the present moment. She will provide valuable insight for you all, partly from her own learned and lived experiences through the wilderness, and the other half from these downloads we provide via direct transmission. In addition, she was highly disassociated from herself in many aspects of her own psyche, which I just spoke of. They are all in the process of the new calibration and reunification. This takes her releasing the negative, self limiting beliefs she learned, as you might say, while in the streets of Earth School. She is still processing down to the deepest core essence of each experience in order to exalt every one of them, raise them up to the divine, the solar disk, the central sun for transmutation, to reignite her own divine feminine flames and divine masculine. This will be the phoenix rising. And as it occurs, just like in a colony of bees or ants, when there is a queen bee or the queen of the ant colony, when something happens to the queen or the empress, energetically, it occurs within the entire colony. This is what is taking place. I tell you this because she does not yet feel vulnerable enough to share what she's been through. She doesn't yet see how sharing her story can completely benefit others because at times it was so dark. She tried to bury these experiences. That is not what you guys are meant to do here. Your bodies, minds, and souls were meant to feel and then sit with them and transmute them. And you're not meant to do this alone anymore. She felt she was protecting people outside of herself from herself. And now she's realizing that holding it all in was actually poisoning the entire colony. We've got the transmission. She understands it now, and she is taking the time and the steps to process instead of running and hiding and not showing up for herself and the rest of you. We're going to end this transmission here. For anyone who this resonated with, thank you for listening. Feel free to comment, and we will be back with more updates on this quantum collective.